Nottingham's revolutionary method of central heating all begins with the weekly collection of household rubbish. These men are at work in the St Anne's redevelopment area close to the city centre, the first housing estate to be connected to the district heating system. But it takes more than one dustbin load to provide the necessary fuel for heating a house. It works out, in fact, at a rate of 12 binfuls per home. Every scrap of waste in Nottingham is now being carted off to the refuse incineration plant, but even this vast amount of rubbish isn't enough. The city is having to import extra garbage from neighbouring towns, and of course they're only too glad to have a handy hygienic dumping place. When it reaches full capacity in a few years' time, the city's new incinerator, with its enormous chimney, will be burning 180,000 tonnes of refuse a year. That'll mean a massive saving to the city because it will be the equivalent of using 60,000 tonnes of coal. But some solid fuel is needed, even for this system of mass-produced central heating, and the National Coal Board are the joint partners with Nottingham Corporation in a venture which is the biggest of its kind in Britain. The rubbish that's burnt at the incinerator is used to produce steam, which is then fed into a network of steel pipes and under the London Road to a converted power station. As the demand for heat varies according to the weather, there has to be a way of stepping up or reducing output at short notice. And that's where the coal-fired burners come in. It's reckoned that 25,000 tonnes of coal will be needed each year when the plant's working flat out. So what it all means is that Nottingham will be heating thousands of its council houses on the cheap, using 7 tonnes of rubbish to 1 of coal. Over 20 miles of steel pipe have now been laid from the heating station, which is the nerve centre of the whole operation. It was bought for £130,000, a bargain price. The total cost of the project will be over £8 million by 1980.
It's in itself quite revolutionary. There have been many incineration schemes for burning refuse, but of course this one is linked with the purpose of providing heat, to provide heat in the form of heating in houses and of course the hot water supply that the tenants and occupiers require. We knew we were going to do large housing developments, and we were already exploring the possibility and in certain cases using district heating schemes. And when we were thinking about large developments of the type that we're now standing in, St Anne's, and another one to come along the Meadows, well, obviously district heating seemed to be the answer, and if we could link this with the use of burning of our refuse, this would be ideal.
A new focal point in Nottingham is the parish church of St Anne's with Emmanuel. It's connected to the district heating system, just like the 2,000 or so houses round it. So is the huge Victoria Centre, 22 floors high, where we filmed this view of the redevelopment area. Eventually, over 7,000 homes in Nottingham, as well as many shops and offices, will be heated in this way. But when will it all begin to pay off? John Haslam again.
We're expecting the scheme will be self-supporting, in point of fact, making a profit in 1980. The cost to the householder, of course, varies on the size of the house, but in general terms at the present time it can be between £1.20 per dwelling to £2.20 per dwelling per week, of course. This compares at the moment very favourably with other fuels. As far as a gas-fueled heating system is concerned, it's very much the same sort of cost. But we know, you know, that fuel costs are going to go up. The cost of collecting refuse, of course, will go up. But it's unlikely that the cost of collecting refuse and the burning of it will escalate in quite the same way as we know fuels do in the case of oil and coal and so on.
Are you ever in danger of running out of rubbish because with all the problems of pollution and the different packaging and shortage of plastics and so on and so forth, are you going to run out of rubbish one day?
Well, I don't think there's any danger of running out of rubbish. People will always produce rubbish. It changes, but it still continues to produce rubbish.
According to official statistics, the British are putting 20 million tonnes of rubbish in their dustbins every year. If all that went in district heating, it would save 6 million tonnes of coal. There have been plenty of lessons to learn from the Nottingham scheme. Some people think the system of payment is too complicated for the council tenants. But with electricity prices always on the increase, many local authorities have been taking a long, hard look at the Nottingham project.